What's going on, everybody? Let us know on Twitter if this is all working okay. We've had to reassemble the system here.
As always.
As always. What's going on, everybody? It's been a while. It's been a while for me.
Maybe yeah. For you. Where you been?
Shit, man. Pissed off at this market.
Nobody wants to know.
Pissed off at this market and planning this ridiculous party.
Indeed. We saw our graphic designer guys. We have an in-house graphic designer now. I look over at what he's doing in the middle of the day today, and he's doing a party invitation. And I'm like, what? Don't you have more important things to be doing? But that's how things go around here sometimes.
All right, we seem like we're a little bit light. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we're getting it here. We're getting it.
Is the audio doing all right?
Let's see what we got. Yeah, it looks like we're good.
Are we? Is audio coming out of it? Sorry, guys, we're just making sure this is working right. All right, we are working. Cool.
All right, so what's going on right now? Honestly, I'm getting slaughtered in these. I hate this market. And I think we're going to address it with a bunch of questions that we got on here. We got a bunch of questions on Twitter here too.
Yep.
So let's get right to it. Do we have anything going on here? Any promos going on?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about that a little bit into it. I just want to make sure everybody out there, who's new to it, this is Anand Sanghvi, also known as Sang Lucci. He's the founder of SangLucci.com, head trader for our hedge fund, chairman of the board, basically. And I am Charlie Bathgate. I write under the name The Professor. And this is the Sang Lucci Mailbag. We do this every Thursday at 4:30. You guys can send us your questions, mailbag at SangLucci.com, and we will answer them. You can tweet at us too. So with that being said, let's hop into it.
All right. So first question we got is from Faisal, who is a weekly. Oh man, you see, and then we can't get the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. You got it up there though, yeah.
All right, so Faisal is saying, how legitimate are the profits shown by people on Profitly? I know that Sang used to be on there, but for some reason left for some reason. Talk a bit about that. Feel free to ignore my question due to personal or professional reasons. All right.
I plead the fifth.
No, I'm not going to plead the fifth. I never do. So everybody wants to know. A lot of people want to know, like, why we don't use Profitly or anything like that. Honestly, it's a great site to track, your profits. There's just a branding thing that we decided on that we just didn't want to be part of that network, and that's kind of one of the reasons why we decided. And there's no beef, going on with us and Tim Sykes or anything like that. We just did it as sort of a branding decision, as sort of a decision made by us to be like, all right, we're going to try to do our own things, because most of the people on Profitly are from the penny world. They're from the penny world, and so we do get we do get a lot of people from the penny world that come over here anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at the moves that an option can make, and they see that it's the only place that has similar, volatility.
Right.
The kind of returns you can get is what is it an option.
Right. Right. So would we ever go back there? Honestly, we haven't even really spoken about it. So there's no reason why we wouldn't go back there.
Right.
As far as tracking gains and things like that, it's a very easy way to do it, and you can get all the widgets and all that kind of stuff to put on your website and everything. We would just rather, as a branding thing, just kind of do it ourselves. And I've been able to build the trust without even posting on Profitly, and people see that trust just by me posting my losers, and as long as I'm out there posting
and winners,
my mistakes, and you're right, my winners, my losers, as long as I'm out there openly speaking about my mistakes, now there's more credibility to that than just posting on Profitly, and just adding those widgets on your website and things like that.
And I think
that's my.
Yeah, I mean, guys, we can't speak to specific individuals or anything on Profitly because honestly, I haven't been on there in a while.
Yeah, I haven't been on there in a while either.
It is possible for people to have multiple brokerage accounts, right? And they load the trades from the best.
Yeah. To speak real quick on how legitimate they are, I mean, when I was on there, I mean, I know personally that there was a lot of people that were very questionable. But you're going to get that no matter what. I mean, look at what industry we are. Nobody wants to talk about how much they suck at trading. Like, nobody wants to talk about it. So it doesn't matter if it was Profitly or something else. You're always going to get a level of dishonesty with something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's really it.
Yeah.
As So we'll leave it at that one. We got ET Trader 1. When volume is drying up and the overall macroeconomic indicators are negative, especially for equities, what type of strategies do you resort to, or do you just not trade? So I have a feeling we're going to come back to this question quite a lot, because there's a lot of people that are very frustrated right now. So far this year, you know, when you look at performance overall across everybody that we've talked to, everybody that we're talking about, fund managers, you know, mutual fund guys, we're talking about traders, you know, there's a large percentage of people that are not doing well, you know, and we'll tell you right now, like, we are down so far on the year, you know.
A little, are we? Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit, you know, and you know, I am having some of the same issues that many of you guys are having. So when volume is drying up and macroeconomic indicators are negative, which, by the way, doesn't mean shit for us traders. When it's drying up, you want to switch to a more writing strategy, and you want to cut your size down, or what this other guy was saying was just not trade completely. The problem is, realistically ask yourself if you can do that, you know? And if the answer is no, then you got to come up with something else, you know? So you need to realistically be able to do that if you're going to say, okay, I'm just going to not trade, you know? Because if you can't half-ass it. If you tell yourself you're not going to trade and all of a sudden you end up in something, your mind is already focused on this other shit that it already sold itself on. So you're going to make all kinds of mistakes when you come back to the market.
And this gets into down at the bottom. At Nokuma, he has another question, but he said something on Twitter that actually wasn't even a question for us, but I just saw it and I was like, I want to talk about, I want to jump on that, you know. And what he said is, why would you pay another? What does he say down there? Why would you pay another for a trading service when those that run that service are relying on padding their income with your fees, right? And you know, he was talking about Keith McCullough and Hedgeye, right? And we're not going to get into that whole thing here, but you know, for us. People, we get this question all the time. If you guys are so good, why do you have an educational service, right? And beyond the stuff of just like, we enjoy it, it's cool, it's a fun thing to do, it's also important, we tell this to all of our traders, to have something, some sort of support mechanism that is going to allow you to stop trading if you need to, right? I mean, Lucci will tell you, some of the best, biggest traders out there are guys that actually only put on maybe 20 trades in the entire year, right? And, you know, for us, if you're a you know, think about it, guys. Just do the math. If you're a hedge fund, let's say you start with $1 million, right? You're charging, you know, a 2% management fee. What is that? $20,000? Like
20 grand, yeah.
20 grand. How much overhead can 20 grand cover?
Right. You got legal. You got
legal. You got to pay salaries. People got to you know, make ends meet in whatever way. And so to protect your trading, having an alternative stream of revenue is very important. And that goes back to that question, you know, sometimes just going to sit on your ass.
Sometimes you got to be able to do it, and it's very difficult to do so. And I'm going to light this guy up later on. You guys are going to enjoy this one. Anyway, so we got at Nokuma. Do you use keystrokes or other program shortcuts for order entries? Absolutely. I mean, you got to think of I had 4,500 contracts in Wells Fargo today. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of size. You know, I could have had 10,000. I could have had 20,000. In order to get that kind of size, I mean, yeah, you can send your market orders on your platforms or whatever, but you're really going to get screwed on that commission. You know, so if you're trading, if you're advanced in your strategies or you're trading a lot of size, you need those kind of hotkeys to get you in and out and to guarantee, well, not really guarantee, but get you the price that you want. You know, and remember, you got fractions of a second. If anybody's trading Apple, you guys know what I mean. You know, you want a certain price, that shit is gone within a fraction of a second. You know, so you need to be able to have these program shortcuts if you want to take your trading to the next level. For those of you guys that are punting around with a contract or 10 contracts, this is not really that big a deal for you. For you, I would focus more on idea generation and being able to vet out a trade correctly before you worry about freaking key, you know, hotkeys and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
All right, so we got junk mail here. One, any good options books you recommend for those that have already looked at all the beginner stuff? And then two, well, we'll take that one. Honestly, I'm out the game, so I can't even recommend this dude with an options book.
You know, we're gonna have to email you something because
I got
Woody, the trader that we were hanging out with from Simplex, gave us a name of a really system to Brian. Were you there in that conversation? We were talking about the best book on options, like the go-to book on options.
Brian Weiner.
Oh yeah, there's Brian Weiner's textbook that he just wrote for his new class.
Mailbag.
Maitenberg?
John Natenberg.
John Natenberg, guys. Check that book out.
John Natenberg.
Yeah, I might have a John.
Option volatility. Oh, here we go. Option Volatility and Pricing by John Natenberg.
And then
check
John
this out.
Hall has one as well.
John Hall.
Those are the only two.
And guys, these are not recommendations from me. I haven't read these things, so you know,
I read
again, we're
Natenberg
just
cover to cover.
throwing it out there. Brian says it's.
I read Hall in college.
All right, so now we got, do you just smart route and accept the HFT skim, or do you send direct to an exchange? I always send direct to the exchange. Why? Because, again, like I'm looking at a complete depth of market, which most of the retail guys out there, like you're not looking at the market like this, right? So I'm looking at every single one of these exchanges, and I'm saying, okay, I want this liquidity right here. Let's say I'm long a shit ton of contracts, and you know, I want to get out of this, and I see this liquidity here, then I'm going to route straight to SIBO. I'm going to route straight to Philly, you know, as opposed to sending a smart route, which, by the way, if you're trading a lot of size and you're using a smart route that's being pitched by Interactive Brokers or whoever that you have, that smart route is actually, it should be renamed as "fuck you" route. That's what it should be renamed as. That's what it should be renamed as.
Yep.
All right, Junk Mail's got a lot of questions. Let's skip Junk Mail for a second. We'll come back. Q's got a question. Why don't you guys get a seat on the option exchange and put Brian back in the pits? Whoa!
Great question.
Whoa!
What would that even entail? I don't even know.
What do you think
Well,
about
actually,
that?
the most realistic thing would be putting me in the NYMEX trade if, like, all of a sudden oil or gas goes crazy and there's a lot of volume. I've been talking to Pete for a year about it. It's right down the street.
Yo, if I could film it just to see Brian back in action in the pit, we would do it in a second.
He's saying trading time frames. Basically, the new normal for this market is 9:30 to 10. Brian back in the pit heyday. It was from 10 to 10:30, and then all the shouting and yelling was done. He has that now transferred to the silence of the computer trading rooms across the board. He's just talking.
Ironically, this question is asked by a computer.
Yes, yes, right.
You should put it on me that I'm going to get Brian in the pit into this year.
All right.
For the
Do we want Brian in the pit?
Well,
If
yeah.
I'm crushing it in...
I'm gonna have him in, at least a couple of days.
Couple of days.
We'll at least have you access to
Yo, if
whatever
it's a
you want.
busy day, I'm like, I'm not going to trade oil.
Couple of days.
I'm not
Because
gonna
if you're
trade
trading
oil.
futures,
Yo, I just want to see you make those gang signs when you're in there, baby. I just want to see you make those gang signs. 2 up, 4 down, bitch. That's all I want to see.
I love it.
All right, we got Chase Carmichael. Yeah, that's a great last name. Where is Carmichael from a movie?
Carmichael. Remember Carmine?
Carmine?
There's Carmine. I think that's the dude from The Mask. Weird
Andrew
reference.
Carmichael. Do you guys exclusively trade options in the high-flying stocks, or I guess now it's previous NASDAQ stocks? I mean, it's not exclusively. I was trading all the banks today. I mean, guys, what we trade is high-volume options. So if you look at your options chain and there's not at least like 1,000 contracts for volume for the day or the capability to get there, you know, chances are I'm not going to trade
Unless it's CNG.
unless it's Chipotle, which
White people
is
stuff.
fucking Chipotle. Edward here. Hi, guys. It's Sang Lucci. I have a few questions for the mailbag. Can you buy puts with a cash account? Answer is yes, okay, because buying puts is already a predetermined risk, okay? All you're doing is buying an option. So it doesn't matter whether you're buying a call or a put, and I understand why you're a little bit confused. Whether you buy a put or a call, and let me just show you an example of, you know, just a random put here. Let's say you bought this put right here for 29 cents. Your max loss here is already determined. Therefore, they're going to allow you to do this in a cash account, okay? You don't need margin to go ahead and buy a put. So you're just going to buy 20 cents, and your max risk is 29 cents for however many contracts you trade. So let's say it's 100. Your max risk here is 2,900 bucks. Okay, that's all you're going to lose, and as long as you have 2,900 bucks in your cash account, you're going to be able to make that trade. Okay.
Pull the thing over, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think we can.
Yeah,
there we go. All right, so you often state that you trade out of the money options rather than in the money options. I don't understand. How can you make anything trading in the money options, as surely if they have reached strike price, there is no premium left to be made? Okay, so this is, I can tell this is from like a newer type of trader, all right? So what you need to realize is that out of the money options, they're trading with premium every single second of the day. You really need to encompass that theory right there. So just because the stock is out of the, or the option is out of the money, doesn't mean that there's no value in it, okay? And the reason why I go out of the money is because I time my trades with the tape. So I am trying to anticipate a big picture move on a stock and then take something out of the money that will probably go into the money. There's more bang for your buck right there because you're paying for a cheap option, and you've read the tape, you have a good expectation on if it can come into fruition. If it doesn't real quick, you get the hell out. You get the hell out fast. You can go ahead and trade in the monies. You know, you don't have to go out of the money if it's too risky for you or it's too weird for you. You know, you can do whatever the hell you want to. Me personally, that's what I go for. The last question here: when you make the larger 5 to 6 figure trades, how do you size in and out? As I often see most options being fairly illiquid. Absolutely. Are the larger trades made in monthly, scaling in and out over time, or do you manage to make the larger trades in the weeklies? If so, how do you get out? Again, it's all about anticipation. It's all about anticipating, like, because as your move is happening, there's going to be liquidity there because everybody else is going to try to buy that option too. You want to be the one that is selling that liquidity to everybody that is still buying. You don't want your option to top out. All of a sudden, all that liquidity disappears, and you can't. You're left there with nothing, and you can't get the hell out. Okay, that's the worst situation that could happen. This happens quite often. You know, it happens to me all the time. As you said, again, options are fairly illiquid, so you need to anticipate that. All right, and sell in anticipation of it. Right? You might not get that top tick that you want and everybody wants, but at least you'll get the liquidity to get the hell out. Yeah. All right, now we come to the question of the day. ELGPK. Lucci, how come you don't take your 100K profits, especially in this choppy market? You would be killing it.
Oh, God.
Shall I?
Say your piece.
So ELG is asking a question that undoubtedly we have other people on Twitter, you know, asking it as well. I mean, you know, you see somebody up $100,000. I mean, why don't they just take it? You know, why don't they just take it? So to ELG, I say number one, fuck you. All right, and I say that meaning that you're not realistically taking into account human emotions, right? It seems obvious, right, that you should take 100,000. I mean, you think I don't fucking know that? Do you think I look at this $100,000 and say, hey, you know, let's just gamble here, blah blah blah? There's so many psychological things that are happening while you're in a $100,000 trade, or while you're in a $10,000 trade, or while you're in a $1,000 trade. All right. Now, if you haven't made the mistake yourself as to not taking your profit, then you're just sitting here talking out of your ass completely. Out of your ass completely. So I end this all with another fuck you. I will end that. Do you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, guys, something you also have to understand is everyone, like we always talk about on this, has their method, their approach of trading, right? I mean, Lucci, yeah, $100,000 trades are great. That's awesome. But he's not really in it. He's not really looking for the $100,000 trade a lot of times when he gets in. He's looking for the $500,000 trade, right? And, you know, of course there are arguments to be made against, you know, holding on to trades. You could say, well, if you just took every $100,000 trade that came along, like, well, you'd be crushed. You'd have X amount of money.
And you think I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, we've had these conversations ad nauseum internally, and, you know, that's the point that you have to really understand and accept is, like, the reason that Lucci has thrived, the reason that he has beat ass and been and is where he is right now, is because he trades the way that reconciles with who he is and his personality and his approach to things, right? If there is a point in 2 years or whatever where his risk tolerance kind of slows down and he's like, you know what, I'm just going to start taking these $100,000 trades, that's one thing. But if you're trying to force someone outside of you know, what is inherent to them, what's inherent to their nature, that's a very tough thing to do. You know, I think you really need sort of external systems in order to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a point. In these choppy markets, you have to take the 100,000. The question is, do you? You know, the question is, do you? You know, are you mentally there yet? You know, and it takes a while to get there. And also, sometimes you're going to do it. Other times you're going to fuck up. You know. I'll end this also with another statement here. Those of you that are sitting there on Twitter and you make an assessment of my trading because of the tweets that you see, and you have the ego and the audacity to think that I haven't thought about this, that you still don't understand the concept of what it is to be a trader. You're out there doing what you do. Provided you have a style that you've created for yourself. That's it. That's all I'm doing. So anything that you could possibly think of that seems obvious to you that I should be doing, and you sit there and throw it out at me, do you fucking think I haven't thought about it? Do you really think I haven't thought about it?
He's thought about it.
That's really the question.
He's thought about it.
That's really the question.
It is equally it's kind of one of those things where sometimes people just randomly see one of our tweets and they'll come and they'll say, you guys are just, I can't believe you think that you should be able to teach people and you're out there to scam people, right? And
right.
It's like you've seen you haven't even been to the site, you haven't watched a single video, and I'm not, listen, ELG, whoever asked this question, I'm not picking on you. I don't know, I really don't know what your background is, but it's just in general there are times when people jump to conclusions based on a very small amount of information, and for people who this is our lives, this is what we do, that can be frustrating to deal with.
All right, so we're going to take some Twitter questions and then wrap everything up here. Ben Jackson here at Designed by Ben on Twitter. He's asking, do you know if you were on TrueBrain or a placebo, and did you notice any difference? I still don't know that.
Results are not in, guys. There's a shitload of data from the Neuroscience of Trading experiment. Brian Weiner, yes.
Ewald told me that I was placebo both days.
Ewald does not. I don't think Ewald has that information. If he does, then Ewald is hiding information from me.
Well, maybe he knew because he was the one that administered.
No one knew because it was double blind.
Oh,
no one had any idea who was getting what. They did a blinding of the process.
I see. So we don't know. I don't know yet. We're all waiting for that too. We're also waiting for a lot of other cool things as far as footage and things like that. You guys are going to see a lot of cool stuff within the next couple of months.
Oh yeah.
On the website as well. I mean, obviously, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out the new website, go to sanglucci.com, check it all out.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think. If you find any bugs too, just shoot us a tweet. And yeah, so we got another one here from @OptionsWeekly1. I know strategy of yours is tape reading. What are your thoughts on playing iron condors or just straight selling naked options? Well, Options Weekly, I'm here to tell you that selling naked options is where you eventually want to be. Yeah, that's where you eventually want to be. The problem is you can't get there because you don't have that much leverage, right? I mean, I got maybe 12 to 13 million in leverage to use, but even that is restrictive when you're trying to make, let's say, $50,000 to $100,000 a week. You can do it, okay? You can do it, but you gotta be a lot more patient, okay? So selling naked options, provided you're using the tape, you're using all this kind of other stuff, can be very powerful, and it can be much more consistent than going long some of these options, because most of the time you go long an option, that shit's going to nothing, if you sit there and hold on for the ride. So eventually what I want to end up doing is literally just that, selling naked options all the time, and you're essentially the house, you're the casino. So let everybody else on Twitter, you can just sell them all the bets. Whatever bet they want to take, sure, I'll give it to you. What price you want? I'll give you a discount. I don't care.
Hey, fat boy, you want that cheeseburger? Hey, fat boy.
All right, so.
Scroll up. What else we got?
No. This was going down. We got a couple.
Oh, you're going down. All right.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that's it. And this is these two just going at each other.
Word.
Oh, here we go. This one I didn't understand actually. What are the generalities concerning insurance coverage for brokerage accounts, small and big account sizes? So essentially, at least this is what I think he's saying. Okay, and I'll pull another example. Like Fidelity goes through 500 to 1,000 lawsuits every single year for customers that take losses and then blame it on Fidelity.
Right.
And they supposedly settle a good amount of these.
Yeah.
They settle a good amount.
It's probably just they run the numbers and they're just like settle.
Fuck it. Let's just get rid of it.
Them, right.
So insurance coverage for brokerage accounts. I mean, I don't know if that applies to something like that, where it's like, okay, we have this, we have this bad debt thing going on here. I'm not sure exactly what that question is.
Yeah, clarify options log. Clarify the question for us. We'll answer it in the next one. Not too sure what you're getting at.
All right, and I think that's about it.
Guys, next boot camp is now 14 days long. Starts on Monday, right? For those of you guys who are new to Sang Lucci, Our flagship course was previously a 12-day boot camp, is now 14 days long. Brian Weiner is now teaching one of those classes. Another 13th class is taught by the lead neuroscientist over at True Brain, all about the science of your mind and how to keep your shit together while you trade. And the rest of it is taught by the man sitting to my right. So sign up, guys. Sign-ups are they close on Monday night. So get your shit in there.
All right. And then we'll be back on Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Everybody's moving, by the way. So this whole apartment, like everything here, is all gone. Like this weekend, shit's gonna be starting to,
it's weird.
Starting to dismantle. It's very weird.
It is surreal, dude. Last night I slept in this apartment.
Yeah.
I'm just crashing upstairs and
Tonight is the last night.
Last night was the last night.
The last night. Look at you. He's about to start crying.
I'm gonna get all nostalgic here, guys. It's just not that long ago. All we had was this fucking computer and a couch.
With this computer and a love seat.
And a love seat.
A leather love seat.
And Feldman.
Okay.
Shout out to Feldman.
Shout out to Peter Feldman,
the man
who was a broker for us, and he came over and sat on the love seat next to me.
And
this was literally
a
desk and a love seat in this whole fucking apartment. There was no couches, no nothing. And he came out here and sat down with me and set up my platform.
That was tight.
So.
And then he took us to Nick's Heat Opener. That was tight.
Right. And now you can see.
Mark Forgione.
And Mark Forgione, which is unbelievable.
Mark Forgione was one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Best steak in New York.
That bone marrow, son.
Oh.
And then, as you can see, we're here now, and we've come along. We've come an incredibly long way.
We've come a long ass way, guys,
and
so much more to come.
Yeah.
You guys don't even the stuff that is coming down the pipeline in all facets. It's, the neuroscience thing, psychology of trading, stuff on the brokerage side. Like there's so much that we got coming. New classes, new courses. It's very exciting.
Yeah. All right. So check out SangLucci.com, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Have a good weekend, guys.